Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and this is day, oh my God, what day is it? 6? It's the Friday of our trip. Can't always remember. We've got the boat here and the lovely Julia in the boat there. Today, I thought, whilst Julia's sorting out and having a cuppa, I thought I'd just go for a towpath walk and show you the delights along the Stratford-upon-Avon canal that goes back towards the marina, although I'm not going to go all that way. So I'm going to leave the boat here and I'm just going to head up and bring you up to speed with some of the things that's been happening over the last 24 hours really since the last video. If you've been watching them in order, you'll know that I have had issues, or we both have, Julia and I have had issues with our boat, with the heating. Well, finally the engineer came. Here's another Anglo Welsh morning, and he came and he solved the issue. Well, we actually had a warm night last night. It was absolutely brilliant. Oh, it's so nice to be warm and snug in the boat. So fantastic. And that made not so much the difference last night as well as the difference you can imagine this morning. Just brilliant. So I wish we'd had it for the whole time, because it's sort of taken over the pretty much the emphasis of this journey. We were going to do so many more things, or hope to do so many more things on this week, but you know, it is what it is, and we've done the best we can under the circumstances. The locks that we've gone through have been brilliant. Loved doing those. And on the way back yesterday we had the volunteers, which in some ways that's great, and other ways not so great, because actually I love doing them, running ahead, thinking, you know, get the paddles up, put the paddles down, open the gates, close the gates, bring the boat in, take the boat out, go to the next one. It's actually good energy, good exercise, good mental capacity, and all of that really. But when you've got a 1-year-old, believe you me, having those helpers on board, because you would have seen us taking Joe from pillar to post. One minute I've got him, the next minute Julia's got him, because sometimes you need two hands on the lock, especially when you're putting the paddles down. So it's not been terribly easy. Here we've got a dredging machine. I think this is a dredger to clean out the canals. So that's rather handy, isn't it? Making sure that they're all clean and tidy and up to spec, which is good. This is a pretty reasonable day today. We have here a winding hole just behind me, just there, for turning. But our boat, not so good at turning, as we found when we were turning down near Stafford. We didn't go all the way, but when we were getting close, we thought, we were advised actually not to go right down, and so we turned it. I think even here we'd get stuck. The boat is just so big. We're doing something we haven't really done very much of.
Walking?
Yes, walking, which is quite refreshing. You had a walk along the towpath last night.
I did, and I accidentally let Joe go to sleep.
Just before we went to the pub, and I went out for a walk, as they will have seen already, and now we're just having a stroll down to have a look at the Mary Arden's house.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah,
oh,
you did, well
lucky
done.
Me. Just stumbled across some cows with horns.
Gorgeous. gorgeous.
And you said something interesting about them.
Yes, something along the lines of, I think, because the farmer we met at the pub yesterday said something along the lines of that's Mary Arden's is a working farm. So I think they drew it as it would have been done.
But a working farm, a period working farm, a Tudor working farm. And so these cows are a breed that would have been around at the time.
Yes, and the horns are undoctored. And the sheep back down there we saw, they're a small variety of sheep. They're very beautiful, gorgeous markings, but they've got their full tails. They've not been, they've not had their tails
probably
cut
again a similar thing.
Yeah, so they must be the same. But oh, it's so good to see.
Sadly, we can't go in because of the COVID thing. It's closed now until next year, which is a bit of a shame. But I think this is the main sort of entrance. That's not a very modern building behind. The interesting buildings are just on this side.
So lovely. Gorgeous. You can see the stables and barns and everything, all as it would have been.
Coming up to the notorious pub, the Mary Arden, in which the lovely Julia decided to get me drunk.
I didn't decide to get you drunk.
I think it was
highly accidental.
I think there was a...
Didn't realise how lightweight you are.
Oh, I am a lightweight, yes.
More than I, and that surprised me, really surprised me.
Yep. Yeah, the woman over there who's doing the filming, she took me down the pub, and she got me drunk. Which...
It wasn't on purpose.
I think it was.
Oh, really?
Now she's making me drink. This is very strong coffee.
Yes, because you needed it.
Apparently I needed it like I do my homemade bread.
You want them life. Why am I banging my head?
I don't know, why are you down there?
Whoa, careful. Careful, Joby.
I see, you're down there to protect the baby, right?
Yes, oh, mind that was your head this time. Yes, I know what it's like, mate. I bashed my head a few times, me and the mother.
I was on the floor rolling about like a baby.
A toddler.
I know, yeah, and luckily I managed to get myself to bed. You didn't have to tuck me up.
No, thankfully.
Wow.
That strong coffee I gave you worked.
It did. Look at this though. Isn't this amazing?
Snap. I can see stocks, I can see a hen house, I can see a washing place where the kids can wash their hands after probably petting animals. Oh, it looks so good. Got to come back and have a go in there. So beautiful.
This is the Mason's Arms. We were hoping to get some lunch here, but I think it's a bit derelict, don't you
I
think?
think it's closed.
Yeah.
Long before COVID.
Long before we got here as well. What a lovely looking place though. Needs quite a bit of tender loving care now though, I imagine.
Bit of a fixer-upper. Definitely a fixer-upper. Nice one though.
Nice. My turn! On the straight bits. I'm very much looking forward to buying a boat and doing this like so many others do. I know it's a money pit. One's just got to be circumspect and getting away from the crazies. I think that's very much the key thing. Wouldn't live on it 24/7, 365, couldn't afford to do that. Well, they're probably cheaper, but it would be nice to have it for 3 or 4 months of the year, and then tart about with the van. I decided to give it a whirl, go over the aqueduct. I mean, what can go wrong? What can go wrong?
It's little more than a bowling alley, isn't it? You know, with the kids' inflatable sides on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not inflated.
Because one day...
Good. It's doing well. I'll show you.
One day I'll go over the Pont Casalti. That ain't bad. That's a good lineup.
By Jove, I think he's done it. We're on the aqueduct, and he's quite happily poodling along. Well done, Richard. Really proud. This might mean next time I don't have to do all the driving. I could do some locks. I do love doing the locks. It's fun. Hard work, but fun.
Wibbly wobbly going across there, just getting used to the length. This is the Edstone aqueduct according to the signage, and we have a lock coming up, so very shortly I will be slowing right down and the lovely Julia will be sidling us into the bank, I imagine. Either that or I'll guide it into the lock and she can do all the hard work there.
That'd be good. I am so proud. Look who's just done a lock.
Well, that was, I had it lined up perfectly, and then the weir pushed the nose over, which I hadn't anticipated. And then, of course, I knew I was out of line. And as Julia has said so many times, it's like threading a needle. And once I was out, I knew I was going to bang the side a bit, but I was going so slowly that it was just a smallish dink, 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 and I was in. But it was fun, loved it. Should have done more. Got another half morning to go, so very excited.
Well, those eagle-eyed viewers among you may have spotted why the water wasn't rising anymore. It's because some numbskull well, this is the first look she's done today, well this trip, left the paddle up this end. It's not going to finish filling that way, is it? What a nana. Anyway, rectified, and we're rising.
We're going up in the world. Only another 16 to do.
You're funny. That would be fun, but knackering. Knackered just doing one.
I'll take her out while you do that paddle, and then I'll try and moor up somewhere over there.
Okay.
To let you on board.
You don't have to moor up, just nudge in.
Well, yes. Just nudge in, you know. That's assuming that I want to pick her up. Might leave her there. Back cruising now, heading back towards the yard so they can do their checks. It's interesting, I was reading a little bit of LTC Rolt in one of his books, just the introduction actually, and he said some striking things about the canals that I thought I'd just share. And one of those is the fact that when the canals were built at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, and they realised they could use boats to transport heavy goods like coal and masonry and all of that sort of stuff. The canals that were left is a huge monument, really second to, I suppose, at that time, the Roman roads and things like that. And it's just incredible that when they built these things, with the architecture and the boats, everything about it seems to blend with the environment. You know, it sort of adds to the environment, and very much it's improved the environment in the area, the aesthetic, you know, the style of the boats, the beauty of the architecture of the bridges, everything really, unlike, you could say, what we have today with the modern architecture and technology, which seems to go against nature and against the natural environment. This sort of is harnessed with it. Interesting, in another book by Harry Hansen, I was reading about the early navigators, or the early boatmen rather. Who were they? And apparently the records, I hadn't realised this, the records are not 100% clear as to who they were. And there's lots of theories whether they were the boatmen that started to carry these heavy goods, were the navigators, the navvies, the Irish navvies that came over and dug the channel, whether they were gypsies, travelling gypsies, because it has this itinerant nature, this itinerant travelling across, no fixed abode. Was it gypsies? Because of all the castles and flowers that were painted on there, very sort of gypsy-like traveller way of life. Possibly carriers, the people who had the wagons, who used to carry all sorts of things, the grain for the farmer, bits of masonry, and this, that and the other. They probably also joined the merry bunch that became the early boaters. Even farmers, it's been suggested, when they're on their off season, there's not much to do, they could earn extra money by carrying stuff on the river. I guess it's like one of those things, new technology, everybody wanted a piece of the action because everybody was doing it. Everybody, until the trains arrived, and then we saw the slow demise of the canals. You know, all things have to come to an end. We've had a joy. I'm looking forward to editing all of this to make it work and all come together, and look forward to the next adventure.